Oh my god, I'm so happy, guys. Swing, swing.
Swingaling, swing.
Demon Slayer Season 4 slash the Hashira trading arc finally concluded a couple days ago. If I didn't get sick a week ago. And it was good. For the most part. In my previous video, I was confused on why they didn't just put this arc and the Infinity Castle arc together. But of course, because movies. Yay! I'ma clear something up about my last Demon Slayer video. Most people interpret me saying this arc shouldn't exist. I've never said they shouldn't adapt this arc because it's not sword breathing, fisting. I was just a bit perplexed on why they did this arc like this. Well, it's obvious now it's because they're adapting the Infinity Castle arc into the 3-part movie. Again, I'm not a manga reader and I will admit that I was wrong in some areas. There's a lot of divided opinions on this season, if it was good or not. For me at least, it was definitely way better handled than the manga. And for the season as a whole, I liked it. It's not the best thing ever, but I think it's good that they're expanding the source material. It helped characterize the Hashiras, giving them more screen time, so we kind of care more a bit since they're gonna fight to the death. And more importantly, the pacing. I was curious how much anime original content there is, so I just scrolled and looked at the panels. And I didn't realize it was that much. I already talked about episode 1, so you can check my last Demon Slayer video. If they actually just adapt this arc 1-to-1, the pacing would be awful. Most of the Hashira training was done in one chapter. The Tengen part was only 5 panels. The Muichiro part was only 9 panels. Basically 8. The Mitsuri segment was a bit more, but if you're talking about the training part, it was 3 panels. Obanai had more, and half of the Sanami part was in that chapter. Sanami and Himejima part was a lot more than the others. If you saw the season, which I don't know why you're watching this video if you haven't, some of the Hashira training was extended to a whole episode, which I think was great. You can like it or hate it, but I think in terms of pacing for the season, it was a good choice. You can see in episode 5 when they had 3 of the Hashira training, I do think it's the worst episode in terms of pacing. In terms of animation slash overall visual quality for the season of Demon Slayer, it's just Ufotable things. When there's action, they deliver, but if it's just dialogue, it's pretty normal. Again, that's okay. Most Ufotable projects are just like that. They don't have the most stacked staff list ever, like your JJK or any other high profile projects. They have to spread their resources around so they could have episodes where everything just bumps up in quality. Of course, Ufotable's main visual point is not the Sakuga. Yes, the animation is great because you have some very talented in-house animators and also still bringing in freelancers to their projects, but everything surrounding it is top tier. Art direction, storyboards, compositing, character supervision, etc. Ufotable can actually make their visual very consistent because they actually have a good schedule. From the booklet of the first Hashira training arc Blu-ray thing, the storyboards for the first episode was done 2 years in advance, and that's not counting the pre-production phase since this season had quite a bit of anime original stuff, so scripting might have taken a bit more than usual. I feel I should talk about episode 7 and 8 separately. Episode 2 to 6 had its moments in the action and even in the dialogue. Episode 2 was mostly talking, but the storyboards held its own with clever framing work and very spacious backgrounds, making the dialogue not boring with only close-up face shots. Other episodes still had interesting boards to keep you excited, making use of Ufotable's strengths like 3D backgrounds or just CG. The camera work is amazing, using it to make very dynamic shots even for the non-action scenes, and the character designs are on model as always, but sometimes they make the design look even better, and the music by Goshina hits every single time. Just putting his soundtracks in the most mundane scenes can take it up a notch, and the episode directors put those soundtracks at the right places. I'll suck his dick more later. The art direction and compositing is also another strength about Ufotable. This is another aspect that never fails about this studio. The backgrounds always look gorgeous all the time, even when the backgrounds are 3D. Just look back from season 1 or even this season or the Infinity Castle. Another player that's quite pivotal in the studio, Yuji Terao. While some can say that they sometimes use a bit too much digital effects, or the people that are just too retarded to understand a fight scene, it is evident that Terao can take the compositing to another level. His ability to make scenes look very realistic in some areas, and of course the 3D team is talented as hell, but the mixing of 2D and 3D is always a treat. Terao mixing those two components together and using very unorthodox color choices and textures, but they mix really well, and it's something that Terao does best. You can probably see some examples of other projects that use both coloring and textures but doesn't mix that well with the surrounding areas, while the action department most of the time looks really good. Mainly most are just exchanges because they're training, having some nice action boards alongside it. Of course, most storyboard artists does have different traits when it comes to action. It could be more focused on timing, impact, or even footwork. Sometimes using 3D backgrounds too. I mean, come on, Ufotable 3D backgrounds. Good. It's more apparent in Tanjiro vs Obanai's little sparring thing. Using this filter in the background to visualize that it's not actually real. Tanjiro's just imagining this terrain in his head. Again, the mixing with the 2D and 3D is perfect. The choreograph too, very fast-paced action with a lot of perspective switch-ups, but the characters stayed consistent, which is a very huge plus. It's also thanks to the animators that the action can move a lot. People like Kazuhiro Miwa, Yuta Kiso, Masayuki Kunihiro, and a lot more. Talking episodes 7 and 8, there's not much about episode 7 besides some stuff and the This episode was storyboarded by Takashi Suhara and directed by Akihiko Uda. Suhara is definitely one of Ufotable's best directors. His understanding of spacing is great and making scenes very cinematic to look at. And the Muzan scene, although for me, sometimes it is a bit too much with the Indian drama editing thing. Brushing off that, the effects, drawing quality, and storyboards is sublime. Episode 8 was definitely the highlight of the season, or even the series. Storyboarded by Suhara again for the first half, and Yomira for the second half, and directed by these three. Again, Suhara's ability to make conversations so interesting and engaging is incredible, making shots very cinematic with clever framing work, nice transitions, and very spacious backgrounds. It also gets the tone very nicely with a more eerie feel surrounding these characters. The two kids playing ball was kind of creepy, I can't lie, and the music kicked in was very chilling. Even this tracing shot of Muzan is weirdly eerie. It's cool too that when we're far away from the kids, it's only the song / lyrics playing, but then when we get closer to the kids, they look more normal and then the instruments start playing. Suhara loves to play with the colors. You can see with his other episodes, he likes to use black and white quite a bit, or just this, which looks awesome. The 3D work is exceptional. The sudden abruptness of the explosion and the slow-mo too on it is crazy. Even the CG snowflakes, like why? The shot where we zoom out to see the explosion from basically Sanami's perspective is absolute cinema. Moving to the action, the textures on Muzan's burnt body look so realistic. I think there's a lot of like digital glow to it, and the fire effects. The dynamic nature of everything, just rotation shots after rotation shots. The visualizations for some of the attacks and how strong the drawings are. I almost don't want to mention it because it's present for most of the time. Also, props to the voice acting and of course the music. Every single time it absolute hits, and the episode directors know what OSTs to play in certain scenes with perfect timing / build up to it. Compositing too, making the environment look so ominous, just like in season 2 episode 10. Nozomu Abe's first sequence. Something about Abe is that his timing is immaculate. He knows when to slow down the cuts or using camera shakes to showcase the damage. Of course his effects work is amazing, but we're not there yet. Just animating Himajima flawlessly rotating with his big ass mace all over the place. You can just feel the heaviness to it. Simplifying the mace when it's far away just to get that speed, and then when we close up you get the detailed mace. Abe's sequence again, the morphing animation is crazy. You can see there's multiple shading on the brain, the two normal shading and the orangey one to match the environment. Everything is animated by Abe. The muscle growing back, the hair, the arm, even the effects surrounding it that's close to his face. Everything is done by Abe. It's also done in ones, which is crazy. I mean, he probably looked at a lot of body anatomy things. Abe was not credited as storyboard artist for this episode. Usually he does his own storyboards for his scenes, so that's cool. Maybe he tweaked it a bit. And this attack, famous for making the debate of all debate, I can't read the fight. Clap for Turtle Guide. I'm not gonna get into it that much. Yes, if you watch it slowly, every strike matters and it counts. You're basically saying a guy who can swing a big ass mace like a nunchuck isn't gonna look like this. I've already said most of the praises. Classic Abe impact frames. The effects work is incredible and it mixed really well with the 3D background. Also having a character running closer to the camera and just spinning him around. Abe does it so flawlessly. Of course you have to simplify the design, but that's the point. You're not close to the character, so you don't need to be that detailed. But if it's very close up, he can make the drawing really strong. It's also to convey the movement better, and it's easier. There's some nitpicky stuff I could bring up, but there's really no point. The barrage of breathing techniques, nothing special, but still good with some nice timing. Now, definitely my favorite scene in terms of visuals, this episode. The castle I mean, the Infinity Castle thing. Every time they showed the Infinity Castle, it just looks better. They improve in every single aspect. The CG, art direction, compositing, like, oh my god. Just flawlessly rotating these characters. Of course, they use 3D models to help out with the perspective, but still, man. Like, this Murata falling is obviously with a 3D model, then just trace that and also probably use Kakani too. Yuichi Terao with the compositing, mixing the lighting and shading with the environment. Yuji makes a lot of weird colors together, but it fucking works and it looks beautiful. Like the Shinobu part, it had like at least 3 or 4 different lighting surrounding it, but it blends so well. And all the other characters too. The character supervision is immaculate, but nothing surprising for Ufotable standards. Also a little detail for the compositing part, they made the lighting from the Infinity Castle bounce on our characters. I thought that was pretty nice attention to detail. Wow, I thought I had more to say about the Infinity Castle part, but we just have to wait for the movies. The first movie is definitely gonna come up sometime next year, or even late this year, judging from how Ufotable is always up to schedule. I'm just assuming. I don't want to go too in-depth with the movie. Well, I mean, I don't read the manga, so there's not much to say, and there's no PV yet. Well, there is, but that's just promotional stuff. So when there's a trailer, hopefully soon, I'll make a video out of it. This video was supposed to be last week, but I got hit by the most devious mosquito bite, so I can't really do anything. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get back to the groove of uploading things. If you guys like this video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a like. Comment down below what are your thoughts about this season of Demon Slayer. Very controversial, I know. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time.